Hello.
So here's the thing.
I always spend so much time on the dolls that I'm making that I was thinking if I would have a time limit, how much would I and could I achieve?
So I thought in today's video I'm going to make the same character twice and give myself 10 hours for the first try and 100 hours for the second one.
And if that wasn't enough, I'm going to combine the whole video with something that I really wanted to make for a long time.
I'm going to redesign my favorite Novi Star character, Mimi Merize.
I always loved the Novi Star franchise so much and I'm so sad that they are discontinued, so I'm just gonna take it upon myself to revive the nostalgia in this video. Before we start, the rules for the challenge will be that the timer only runs when I'm actually actively working on the doll. So what doesn't count will be 3D printing times, paint and glue drying times, waiting for materials to arrive, procrastinating. Also, if Leon helps me, his time will be counted on top of mine, so in those cases the time will run even faster.
Okie dokie, so with that out of the way, how about we start with a 10-hour redesign?
Alright, so for the 10-hour challenge, I thought it would be actually cool to make the doll in the same size as the original Novi Star dolls. And luckily, I found this body replacement part on eBay. I believe it's from CC Through originally, but it fits perfectly for this challenge. For the head, I purchased a 3D printing file from Nisox on Cults, who made an alien BJD head, and I just have to 3D print it real quick and then we can start the actual challenge. Alright, so here's the finished printed head. So small. And it's almost good to go, but sanding the 3D prints after printing will make them look so much nicer. So I'm gonna ask my assistant Leon to do that because he's somewhat of a sanding master since he's sanding all of my doll parts lately. So I will set up the timer, give him the doll parts, and then we start the actual challenge. Oh my god, I'm so scared. As you can see though in this frame, this is Leon's first time recording a time lapse and he's completely out of frame and mostly out of focus. So I had to fire Leon. No, I'm kidding. Love you. But it's a great time to introduce today's sponsor, Skillshare. With Skillshare, Leon can learn more about YouTube video shooting. And you can too. I found this class from
Podcast Brownlee
about YouTube success, where he talks about writing scripts, hooking your audience,
Fortnite,
shooting your video, and so much more. I feel these lessons can give you a solid foundation on how to start out. Skillshare has a wide variety of topics, including photography, creative writing, social media, and much more. Whether you want to learn the basics of watercolor painting or learn how to start your own creative business, Skillshare has classes that take you from beginner to pro alongside a supportive community. So if you're curious now about a certain creative topic, I got great news for you. The first 1,000 people who use my link in the description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. That's literally 30 days of unlimited knowledge. So if you want to unlock your creativity and learn something new, use my link in the description box and get started. Thank you so much Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back into the challenge. So before starting the actual doll, I want to let you know what I have planned for these 10 hours. Basically, I want to give her a jellyfish wig with some tinsels, a high-low checkered dress with some swirly elements in the front, obviously paint all of her swirls on the body and the face, then bedazzle some cute shoes, and if I have time, I also want to make her a custom doll stand and maybe bedazzle everything with glitter and some rhinestones. Before I will work on the doll though, I have a pattern of making patterns for my dolls. So let's do that with some masking tape and some Frischhaltefolie. Alright, so with the patterns out of the way,
have these wefts still left over from Shy Lily and from Frankie, so I can just use them and glue the wig. Yay!
I basically built the wig like always from the back of the head and just leave the bottom hairs longer and cut a bob on the top of the wig to give her that jellyfish look. And before finishing the top of the wig with the final wefts, I glue some tinsel hair to it. Then I style everything nice in place with some curled wefts that I tried to style in place alien-like with some glue and gel. With some glue and gel, which was not that easy. In the meantime, the glitter also finally arrived, so I go ahead and apply glue and then the glitter to the stripes.
Done. This needs to dry now. 6.5 hours left. Yay! Okay, so it is the next day and I'm removing the pins now.
I was really hoping the hairstyle would hold its shape, and luckily it did, and it looks super cute. Before painting the face, I will make a little template for her mask that I will later on vectorize and then cut from foam. And then we can start by blushing her face with some soft pastels before going in with a pencil to sketch out her eyeliner. To save some time, I go in right away with some acrylic paints afterwards and line it as well. I also use some pink gouache paint to paint her an eyeshadow eyeliner. And before continuing with the face up, I sketch out all of her swirls and then afterwards fill them in with purple paint as well. When that was done, I can then finally paint her lower lashes with some gouache paint, my favorite part of the face up. I then take black pastel chalk dust and blend the lashes in. I also decided to paint her a cute little small mouth and use gouache paint for that as well. And then it was time to glitter the swirls on the face as well. It looks so darn cute, I think. And now I just need to glue her some beautiful lashes as they go very well on Novi Star heads. For her eyes, I found a free vector swirl pattern online, then just color it in the colors I want and print it. I apply some UV resin to it and some holographic glitter, cure it, and cut it out. And then I just insert the eyes with blue tack and they actually look amazing. I made the eyes this way because I saved some time and rounded eyes didn't really work on this head, so it was perfect. I love her face and it looks insanely cute together, especially with the body. Time to make a dress. I cut it from checkered fabric and first just sew the side seams together, finished sides in. Then I glue around all the seam allowances before adding a black glittery lining towards the back of the dress. For the neck closure, I just glue a satin ribbon to the neckline of it and then just add a self-adhesive velcro to the dress. I then went ahead and vectorized the mask alongside with some swirls and cut everything out from 1mm EVA foam. I then tinted some flexible UV resin black, applied to the mask, then cure it, and then just paint it silver with my silver chrome paint and do the same to the swirls as well. Before adding the final accessories, I decided to bedazzle the wig with some rhinestones to give it more pizzazz, and I really like what finishing touch it gives the wig. I then add the swirls to the dress with some glue and also decided to bedazzle it with some rhinestones as well. It looks really pretty. I luckily found some Novi Star shoes that fit her perfectly and just add some iridescent rhinestones to them as well. And then I had some time left, so I scaled up the swirl that I cut for the dress and decided to cut a little doll stand for her. I cut the ground plate from purple and the swirl from iridescent acrylic. I then removed the protective film and glue the parts together with double-faced tape. For the rod, I use a wooden stick and paint it black. I went ahead and printed some little spirals and I want to make her fingering from that, and I'm just gonna put some resin on top of that. And my cam is dying. Yeah, I just whipped out the fingering last minute, put a drop of UV resin on it, and then in the end just gloss it over with a top coat. I then decided to also chromify the soles of the shoes and paint them with my silver chrome paint, and then realized that I had to adjust the end of the rod for the little doll stand piece. With a sanding machine and some glue, this was an easy fix and now just needs to be painted. I then assembled the doll stand but will cut the rod to the correct length later on when dressing the doll. With this, all the doll parts are actually done now and I still have a couple minutes to assemble the doll, which is good in case I have to repair something when something breaks or so, which sometimes happens. Alright, so we have about 25 minutes left and I have everything finished so far. I will now need to assemble the doll and maybe make some final little touch-ups and have to adjust the length of the rod for the doll stand, and then hopefully we will be done in 24 minutes and 56 seconds. Oh my god. Okay, I have to take my hands off. Yeah, it's okay. Alright, let's see how she looks like. proud of myself what I was able to pull off in 10 hours, and you can see that you don't need that much time in order to make a really cool doll. Now is the question, what can I do in 100 hours? Alright, so the 10-hour doll is done, but there is no time to chill now because I still have to make the 100-hour doll. For the design of the 100-hour doll, I actually collaborated with an artist that I absolutely adore. Mimi Merize on Instagram. I hope I said that right. She makes these absolutely incredible character designs. So I asked her if she would like to help me with the redesign and sent her all of my inspiration, which was essentially Iris van Herpen and Op Art. And let me tell you, she absolutely more than delivered. Like, look at this. Oh my god. So what I'm gonna do is I basically will print my Nova doll with a custom face and custom hands and feet with only 4 fingers and toes that Blue Pixie already prepared. Then make her a long white and teal wig with a bunch of accessories, an iridescent sparkly dress with cool black elements, some pretty high heels and a beautiful pair of wings, because why not? I know original Mimi Merize doesn't have wings, my redesign has, okay? This is such an intricate design, so I really hope I can pull this off in 100 hours. So let's not waste any more time and get started. So the doll is now fully sanded, and Leon needed around 4.5 hours for that. So we have 95.5 hours left. And what I'm going to do now is I will spray some satin matte clear varnish onto all the doll pieces, because they do have some tiny little scratchings here and there. And in order to give her a perfectly smooth surface, I am going to do that now. And then we can also assemble the doll. So, montage time! The assembled doll looks so nice. I have such a weakness for translucent dolls. I think they just look so magical. Now I still need to paint her stripes, so let's do that real quick with some acrylic paint. If painting the swirls on Mimi Merize's body wasn't already enough work, I had the brilliant idea to bedazzle them with iridescent purple rhinestones. Am I crazy? Probably. Do I hate myself? Maybe a little. But once I've focused my mind on an idea that I have, I just have to pull it off. So let's do it.
Oh my god, I can't believe I'm done. Oh my god, my back. It's 9:30 p.m, but I'm done.
The bedazzled doll is just everything. And it looks even so much better than I thought it would. Her face I will bedazzle later on when I'm painting the face. Before making Mimi's wig, I decided I wanted to make the patterns for her dress first, because I was quite unsure onto how to actually make this outfit work. And oh boy, I needed way longer than I thought for the patterns. Okay, so it is the next day. It's not that I spent the whole yesterday with pattern making, because it turned out to be much more complicated than I thought it would be. But now I managed to do some under construction for the skirt. This is just a prototype, but I will use it later when we make the outfit. I also went ahead and made her wig cap and we are down to 67 hours. Oh my god. Yeah, we did a lot yesterday. I totally didn't work super late again. And before I start gluing her wig, because her hairstyle has two big hair buns, I decided I'm going to make them by wrapping around hair around these huge beads that I found in my stash. But before we do that, I'm gonna spray paint them white real quick. And then the first thing we do for the wig is making the hair buns, and then we glue the actual wig and hopefully won't spend the whole day on it. So after spray painting the big beads, I then wrap around some white wefts that Leon was so kind to prepare for me in the meantime and glue them in place with my earwig glue, and I also set them in place with my heat gun. And afterwards I start gluing the wig, starting from the back of the head like always. When I reached the height where the buns will come on later, I decided to add some tinsels to her hair as well, but this time I used iridescent tinsels. I then add some wefts to the front, creating her heme bangs and the middle part of her bangs as well. I cut them completely out of focus and set them in with hairspray. For easier handling, I actually made some yarn wefts for the folded parting wefts, set them in place with heat, and then cut and style them. I then need to fill up the upper part of her wig with some more wefts, gluing them on one by one and styling them in place. And then it was time to add the hair buns to the wig with some hot glue. I initially wanted to give her some foam or wire pigtails, but I just couldn't make it look good. It just looked like hairy sausages. So I decided to just put some hair ties on the side of her wig, creating some small fake pigtails. To now give the wig more pizzazz, I then used some Scooby-Doo plastic lace and knot it around the hair buns. I then glue a little pleather strip as the hair tie and then take some thin jewelry wire and insert it into the plastic lace. This way I will be able to bend them in shape to my liking. Really neat! And since the hair of the initial artwork is bejeweled as well, I make little jewelry elements by using some double-faced tape and just applying some rhinestones in a rhombus shape to them. I then cut them out with scissors and then just make a couple more so I have enough for the wig. And then I just peel off the protective layer of the double-faced tape and slap them on the wig. With all the elements added to the wig, it looks like this, and I really love the look so far. I will add more elements to it as I go later on, but for now I was eager to actually painting her face. The process I usually show in my videos is not always the exact order as I'm making things, but for the challenges and timer's sake, this video is maybe a little out of place, and I'm sorry. I've never painted a translucent face before, well, except for the 10-hour doll, but nonetheless I was super excited for this. First, after spraying her with MSC, I add some micro glitters to her face before going in with some pink pastel chalk dust to blush her ears, cheeks, forehead and nose area. You guys might wonder, maybe for the 10-hour doll already, why I made Mimi Merize translucent in the first place, because obviously the OG doll is white, but the reason is simple. First of all, I always wanted to make a translucent doll, and I thought that this whole swirly optical illusion effect would look even cooler on a translucent doll, right? Then take some matte black acrylic paint to paint her eyeliner. While at it, I also take my favorite brown gouache paint and line her lip line as well, so her mouth is actually finally visible. For pink eyeshadow, I also use some gouache paint and then use the same dark brown paint as for the mouth to paint her lower lashes. I absolutely love painting lashes so much, and you would think that it takes me really long to paint these, but it was actually a super fast process. See? One eye is already done. Now I just repeat it on the other side and then also take some black pastel chalk dust to blend in the lashes. I don't know why, but this step to me makes a huge difference always. I then went ahead and painted the swirls on Mimi's face the same way as I did on the 10-hour doll, and now also bedazzle them with rhinestones. It's kind of self-explanatory, so let's just speed up the process here.
Oh god, I'm done. That was actually faster than I thought.
When I was done bedazzling the face, just some lashes are missing. So I'm gluing them to the upper lids, this time with some uwu glue, because I was just too impatient to wait for the PVA glue to dry. To make Mimi's eyes, I will actually be using these beautiful vinyls. These are actually fabric vinyls, but I was hoping that they might work on cardboard paper as well. So I cut out the shapes with a Cricut, and then first ironed the circles onto some cardboard. And indeed, it worked. And now I just need to top the purple circle with the holo swirl in the same fashion. I'm really so glad this works and it looks so amazing. I cut out the circles off cam and then use my half sphere mold, pour some UV resin into it, and then put the iris upside down onto it and cure the whole thing for a couple minutes. Afterwards, I take some white UV resin that I mixed, pour it on top, cure the whole thing again, and hope that the eye will look good. Moment of truth. Demolding. Oh my god, yes, it looks so good and it shimmers so nicely. It looks even better in real life actually. I then went ahead and made the second eye the same way and now glossed them over a final time with a UV top coat so that they will be extra shiny. After final cure they look like this, and here's also Mimi's finished face. So how about we slap the face and the eyes together to see what she looks like. Bam! Okay, this really looks mesmerizing. I feel this is such a unique face up and I had so much fun creating this. But her mask is still missing, so how about we make that next? I already prepared the vector file in Adobe Illustrator and now cut the mask with my X-Tool P2 laser cutter from 1mm EVA foam. I then glued it onto a piece of paper with some masking tape and then used some flexible black tinted UV resin again. I topped the mask with it and when everything was covered, cure it for a couple minutes in my UV lamp. Afterwards I can remove it from the tape and have a really cool and flexible mask. This is such a neat technique for little doll accessories like this. While I was procrastinating starting with the outfit, I also thought, hey, why not cut the wings already as well? For those I used some iridescent acrylic and cut them with my laser cutter as well. Afterwards I just satisfyingly removed the protective film. To continue the wings I still need some other materials that I'm still waiting on. So I technically wanted to make the outfit now. Okay, so I did manage to make the eyes and I made the mask and I started with the wings yesterday. And then I was like, okay, how about I'm starting to make the outfit now? And then I tried making the outfit and nothing worked. So I basically tried the whole day. Basically my initial idea of putting on some fabric vinyl onto fabric and then sewing the outfit didn't work because the fabric became way too stiff. So I tried and I tried and I tried to make different methods work and nothing worked. So I wasted more than a whole day now trying to figure that out, and we are now down to 33 hours. Oh my god, where did the time go? The good thing is that I think I found a method that could work now. Bad thing is I have to wait for materials that will arrive later today. So in order to not waste any more precious time, because quite frankly I only have 3 days left for the doll because I have to also edit this video, I decided that now I'm going to make her headdress in the meantime while I'm waiting for the materials to arrive, then make the outfit ASAP as the materials come. I ended up making the first part of the headdress again, but here is me making it the first time, bending some wires in shape, then painting them black and glossing them over with some UV top coat, and in the end bedazzling them with beads and rhinestones. I then made the halo-like headpiece part with my laser cutter and also bedazzle it, and that's when I realized that I really didn't like my first try on the black part of the headdress. So I made it from acrylic as well, painted it black, glossed it over, and also bedazzle it with some rhinestones like I did on the first one. I will assemble the whole headpiece later on the wig. But in the meantime, the iridescent platter I was waiting on finally arrived, so I decided to cut the outfit pattern pieces with my laser cutter. It's so neat that you can cut PU leather with a laser cutter. This way the pieces are super accurate and clean. I also went ahead and cut the same pieces from 1mm EVA foam as well, and now spread some toxic booger contact kleber to both surfaces and then press the pieces together forever after the glue dried for a little moment. I do that to all the pattern pieces and then glue the seams together with contact adhesive as well. I do that slow and shape the pieces according to the body shape. The fully assembled top looks like this, and I will now apply some ornaments that I made in the same fashion as the mask and simply glue them onto the top and try to make it look as close to the artwork as possible. I first glue the bottom part and then the upper part. It was just easier to make this whole thing in 2 parts for me. For some more sparkles, I add a big rhinestone to the center chest piece and then fill the gaps with, you guessed it right, more rhinestones. So far the top looks like this, and I'm really happy how it's coming along. For the shoulders of the top I made a shoulder pad pattern and also glue them together the same way as I did on the top. cut off any excess if necessary, and then shape them with my heat gun to make them round. And then make 2 more shoulder pieces for one whole shoulder, and now have to glue them together so they will look something like this. After I successfully assembled them, I then simply glue the shoulder pieces to the top with more contact adhesive. Let's make a little transition here for the second shoulder, and boom! With this step, the top is almost done. I will add the final details later though, but so far it's looking fantastic. I actually made the skirt quite different than the supposed prototype that I showed you earlier, and basically first cut all the pattern pieces from pleather and from EVA foam. I just can't get over how pretty this iridescent pleather looks. Look at this! Ah! As you can see, I cut a bunch of pieces for the pleats, and now need to glue them all together like I did with the top pieces. This took quite a while, but I eventually managed to glue them. I then went ahead and made more flexible ornaments for the skirt in the same way as the ornaments on the top before. With some uhu glue, I then glue them to the pleats. When they were dry, I then shaped the pleats with heat, so they will eventually end up looking like ice cream cones, but you just gotta trust the process here. The waistband piece kind of looks like iridescent gum without teeth, and I will now simply glue the cone-shaped pleat pieces into the gaps. Honestly, gluing the skirt together like this was super satisfying, and I really like the fact that I didn't sew it but just glued the whole outfit. I feel like aliens wouldn't necessarily sew their clothes, but maybe have other techniques, right? The assembled skirt looks incredibly nice though, and I'm so glad that I had enough time with the 100 hours to really figure out the perfect pattern shape for the skirt. Now let's also finish the wings, shall we? I cut some shapes from some other pleathers with my laser cutter, and now use my uhu glue to first glue the purple pleather pieces to the wings. And then I just add all the little iridescent inlays with some uhu glue as well. I really love how the wings look, and they will be attachable to the doll top with some magnets later on. But now the back bow for the dress is still missing. Okay, so it took me way too long to figure out the pattern for this bow, but I think I made it work. And I also think that these tails look really cute this way, but figuring out this pattern, oh my god, it took forever. So I have like 14 hours and 40 minutes left, and now I have to vectorize these pattern pieces, then cut them from the iridescent pleather and pray to the gods that making them from that pleather will work, hopefully. To make the pieces double-faced, I add some iridescent fabric vinyl to the back of the iridescent pleather pieces. This actually worked quite well, so I just had to cut the pieces out after ironing, peel off the protective vinyl, fold them in shape and press them with more heat. I also did the same with the upper part of the bow, and I'll just fold the pieces like this and glue them in place. To make the black stripes on the bow, I cut a bunch of PU leather stripes with my laser cutter because I ran out of black EVA foam, and also give them the UV resin treatment. Here I attached some of them to the bow already, and now add the rest of them with some glue and some patience. And I also of course have to do the same to the tails of the bow and eventually end up with the finished pieces. They look super nice, and now I can use some hot glue to finally assemble the bow. I also attached a little middle piece off cam, and now just finish off the bow with a big iridescent rhinestone. Leon was so nice and already sanded and painted the shoes for Mimi a couple days prior, and I will now use some flat aluminum wire that I will bend in swirly shapes around the shoe. My cam sadly decided to die here, so I have no process of that. But the important part, the bedazzling with rhinestones, was of course captured. I think the rhinestones are a perfect finishing touch for the shoes. And now only the final touches of the outfit are missing. First I'm gluing a belt piece to the bottom edge of the top on the left and right side. Then I take some more plastic lace filled with wire and add some cables to the top. I attach them with hot glue and then take another big rhinestone and top off the middle part of the bottom of the top. I also had some leftover strips from the ribbon, so I decided to add them to the skirt as well. And last but not least, I glue the big back ribbon to the back of the skirt. To finish off the wig, I take these plastic laces that I bend in shape and wrap them around the hair buns. Then I add the black headdress with some glue and also attach the halo in the same way. We made her endless, painted them, and now just hot glue them to the wig.
So because I have some time left, I was thinking it would be cool to have some LED in Mimi Merize hair, because it would look really good with the iridescent fabric of the outfit.
So what I did now is I pinned the LED strip to the wig, and I love the look. So I will cut it to length now, glue a wire and rhinestones to the back, and then bend it in shape and glue it to the wig. Here you can see me cutting the strip and, you guessed it right, attaching more rhinestones after I glued on the wire. With 4.5 hours left, I attached the LED strip to the wig, and it looks absolutely incredible, I think. It really elevates the whole costume a little more. Okay, so the final thing that I wanted to make for Mimi was a custom doll stand. So I made a design in Illustrator, will cut it from acrylic, and then let Leon do the bedazzling with a million rhinestones, so I can actually already start editing this video. With the doll stand now all done, I can finally put together the whole doll. I have around 40 minutes left, which is good in case something might break, so I have some repair time.
Oh my god, guys, I can't believe I completed the challenge and the 100-hour doll is finally done. I know you guys are probably dying to see her. So here's my Mimi Merize redesign. Yay! And here are both of my Mimi Merize redesigns. This was such an interesting challenge, and I'm really impressed what I could pull off in just 10 hours. But obviously having 100 hours time for a doll really pays off, because you just have a lot of time to figure things out and to make something really unique. In the next video I will finally continue with the Monster High redesigns, so I hope you're looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always a big shout out to all of my lovely patrons. You guys are amazing. Alright, that's it for this video. See you soon. Bye!
So what doesn't count will be procrastination, procrastinating, procrastination, procrastinating.